Hello, and good time zone. And what is up, gamers? Hi, everyone. Welcome in, and happy Thanksgiving to any Americans who are watching the stream. Thank you for being here instead of with your families or friends. And if you are celebrating Thanksgiving by yourself, thank you for being here instead of, like, I don't know, cooking the 500,000 side dishes that you're probably supposed to be prepping right now. But anyways, hello, SB. Welcome in and a happy Thanksgiving to you too. Thank you for the 5 stream steak. That's a lot of steaks. Thank you. Turnip, hello. Thank you so much for the lurk. I hope you have a lovely... Oh, that's just the loveliest of lovely lurks. Hello. And Joe, welcome in. It's a Joe. It's lovely to see you. Congratulations on being you, and I'm so glad that you're here. Q2s, I'm glad you're here too. Welcome in. Hello, friends. Hello, hello. Ha! I also did a very loud sneeze right before the stream started, and oh, biddle boy, I was just sitting here getting, like, the tech and stuff ready, and I am just so grateful that the mic was muted when that happened, because I think it would have been somewhat of a jump scare. Anyways, hello. Hi, everybody. I hope you are all well. We have our little sketchy do from last time. Unsurprisingly, I have not had a chance to work on it at all, but to be honest, I think it's got good bones. I think we can work from this and hopefully come up with something, something useful and good and pleasant. But I don't know. Here it is. Man, it looks so tiny. It looks so tiny on camera. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit, but if I try to do that, I feel like the angle is going to get wonky, because the arm offers me a very limited amount of movement and flexibility where the camera work good. In other news, man, the orange paint that I used to blend this color is so thick that it's just, like, cracking apart in here. I haven't used this paint yet, but it is just, this was full. This paint pan was full, and, like, look how deep I can get my fingy. I can get about this far down. Like, the amount of moisture lost out of these is frankly crazy. But, I mean, that's just the nature of... And they're still tacky. Like, these paints are tacky. Not tacky as in, like, you know, the... Oh, God, those, like, rayon floral blouses from the 90s where the sleeves, just the sleeves, were made out of, like, a sheer, like, I don't know, probably some kind of polyester, but they were made, like, the blouse itself was, you know, some sort of, like, floral, sort of silky rayon material, and then the sleeves were like a sheer white fabric, just like a veil of see-through material on your arms. God, they were so bad. Anyways, that not tacky like that, but tacky like not quite sticky, but like definitely giving a little bit of resistance when you poke it. Like, what is going on here? Anyways, these are our paints. This is the palette what I did today. Oh, man. Yeah, these just did not dry down super smoothly. And I don't know if it's just because it's been damp because it's that time of year or what. But wild. Wild stuff. I don't know. Anyways. But this, in case you missed the sort of earlier doing of these paints, this is another one of those paint palettes that I've just kind of compiled for myself using a whole bunch of colors, and each of these colors has been specially blended with a unifying, like, anchor color to give the whole palette a somewhat more coherent look. The color in this case is the beautiful... The lighting is not doing it justice. It's raw umber, baby. Delicious. Anyways, I've had a day. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I got up from a nap at about 25 past 4 to get ready to stream. And that's pretty much how I'm feeling. But that's fine. But yeah, it's been a long day. It's been a long week. Realistically, it's been a long months for me. I just, woof. Um, you know, and it's not letting up anytime soon. Yesterday I got a text from my doctor's office to tell me that some things are wrong with me that are like annoying, inconvenient things that will make my life worse. Um, and then today I got some more, I got more texts from my doctor to say more things are wrong with me. One of which is just, hey, that vitamin supplement you've been taking, you don't have to. You've got plenty of that. You can stop, which is great because that saves me money. I love that. But I also have a prescription for another thing, which is something I've actually already been taking as just like a supplement from Boots. But now I have the prescription version of it, which comes with side effects. Yippee! So anyways, I'm also a reindeer or a clown. We settled on reindeer last time, but I mean, your mileage may vary. Anyways, I'm sipping one of my teas. This is pineapple mint. I found a cache of this in my stash of tea that I really need to sort through because I'm sure I've got some stuff in there that's out of date that I forgot I bought. You know, back in like 2020 at the height of Panini time when all I could do was order things online and try not to panic. But this is, it's fine. It is one of my favorite teas, but I'm trying to cut down on the amount of sugar I put in things because I'm over 40 and they don't tell you this, but once you hit like your mid-30s, your whole body just starts to fall apart. So jot that down. But trying to cut down on added sugar and things. But man, some of these like fruit teas just don't, like, it doesn't taste correct to my brain if it's not sweet because it's supposed to be fruity. And if a fruity thing doesn't have like the sweetness that it does, like imagine if you just somehow like distilled the sugar out of an apple but still had the apple and then you ate that and it would taste like an apple but it would just be like kind of bland and sour. That's how fruit teas taste to me if you don't sweeten them. It just, you're like, the brain says this is wrong. So I put one very small spoonful of sugar in it, but not sure I'm feeling it. Never mind. Anyways, this is the sketch that we workshopped last time. We've got these two little sort of 18th century milkmaid-esque ladies who are 100% dating or married. I'm not sure, but they're a couple little adventurers. And maybe this is their little farmhouse in like I don't know, someplace picturesque and enchanted. And it's very inconveniently placed amongst like a whole bunch of hills and stuff, but that makes for fun drawings, and that's a fun shorthand for a landscape for me, so I'm into it. Ooh, cute! She's a 20 stream steak. Oh my goodness, have I even streamed 20 times? That's wild. That feels like so many. Thank you so much for the 20 stream steak. Hell yeah. Q2 says we could upgrade your nose to a red apple. Or a steak. Or 20. Just stack 20 steaks in front of my face at this point. I shan't eat them. But you can do that. I don't think my cholesterol levels could handle 20 steaks. I think I might die. But anyways, also I don't eat steak, so you know. I do eat apples though. I had an apple snack earlier. It was delicious. Honestly, at this point, I'm just watching my PNG tuber. Because that nose is so stupid. I love it. Have an apple steak. Yum, delicious. I do love apples. Apples are so good. Oh man, there used to be, back like years, this is going back like years and years ago, but there used to be, I find it so frustrating that it's really hard to find like good, interesting apple varietals. Like from the supermarket, it's really difficult to find good, interesting apple varietals. They almost have just basic, they almost always just have like the same 4 of them. And it's one of those things, okay. I'm gonna get into a rant about this in a second because I have thoughts. But, you know, you go to the grocery store, and I understand for like practical purposes it makes sense to have like just sort of like a small number of varieties of apples that you know sell well and also store well, because I think as with a lot of things, you know, these things are bred for, you know, sort of flavor and also longevity and that kind of thing, because they need to kind of be kept in cold storage potentially over months and then released into the supermarchés. And so you want to have varieties that like last well and that kind of thing, which is probably why you see a more limited selection from the supermarkets. Like it's always like galas. At least in this country where I am now, it's always like galas and Braeburns and Jazz, Pink Lady, and Bramley's for cooking, right? But there's so many other good apples. There's so many other good apples. I absolutely adore. There is a variety that I used to see occasionally from this stall at Borough Market that has not been there for like 6 years. That was from a farm in Kent where they grew all kinds of different like heritage apple varieties, and it was the Egremont russet apple. And if you like a russet situation on your apple fruits, I love a russet situation. You know, when it's sort of like there's the patches of it, or maybe even the whole thing that's just like brown around the outside, and it has sort of like a matte finish, you know, like that. That it's such a good texture, and they always taste really, really good. Really, really good. Love a russet apple. I had a fairly russet pear yesterday, and it was delightful. Russet potatoes. Classic. Delicious. But anyways. But I remember some years ago watching a TV program about like supermarket produce, and one of the segments they were talking about like like how supermarkets, you know, sell apples. And they were like, how come, you know, like all of the apples in the supermarket are like galas and Braeburns and Pink Ladies? And the representative for whichever supermarket it was like, we stock these apple varieties because that's what the people want. And it just feels like such a cop-out, like, nonsense answer. Because I think it's likely that most people don't think super hard about about apple varieties as you know, sort of me, a person with a hyperfixation. And so I'm going to go out on a limb and suspect that a lot of people who don't, like, you know, seek out, you know, different apple varieties at their farmer's market, or really look super closely at like what the name on the bag of apples is, probably don't necessarily even realize how many other apple varieties exist even in this one country, let alone like if you go to other countries, there are gazillions of other types of apples. Like the standard complement of apple varieties that you see in Canadian supermarkets, for instance, is not the same as the ones you see here. You know, but it's like these are the apples that people want to buy. And it's like, is it that these are the apples that people are buying because they are the ones that are available? And they're, you know, it's like, oh, geez, people aren't buying the Newton Pippins. It's like, that's because there's nowhere that stocks Newton Pippins in the supermarket. Maybe they would if you did. Maybe people would buy Jonathan apples. Or, like, oh, man, like a wine sap or something, you know? Like, there's it was the same argument I saw made in an article where, it was an article talking about basically just how, like, bland and depressing new built, like, houses are. Like, if you see a housing development and you're like, wow, that is an uninspiring, you know, like, brick box with not enough windows. Yippee! And, you know, talking about how, like, these houses could be nicer. They could look nicer. So why are you building houses like these? And a representative from a firm who, you know, is responsible for, like, building, you know, sort of new built housing estates and developments and that kind of thing is like, oh, we're just responding to, you know, these houses are what the consumers, what the home buyers want. It's like, oh, buddy, I don't know how to break it to you that most people when buying a home, their priorities are probably less like, oh, geez, does this have, like, the beautiful, like, windows, and does this have a French door like I'd like? Does it have the kind of storage I'd like to have inside my house? Does it have this, that, and the other? And they're more like, what can I afford in the neighborhood I need to move to because I need to move to this city because I have a job here? You know, or like, okay, we've had another baby, so we need another bedroom. What is a house that I can afford that's currently available in the area I live in that's, you know, like not too steep of a jump in price that we can afford? That's what people think about when they're buying houses. So if it happens to be like a shitty new built house, they're just going to have to be like, well, this is the house that we're going to have. It's not because people are clamoring for these like bad designs. They just have no choice. Like, and I feel like the representatives from these businesses saying, oh, we're just doing what people want, like, they know that's a lie. They know that is a bald-faced lie. I'm sure of it. I'm positive. Because no one's picking these houses. They're picking a house that they can afford in a place they need or want to live in. Okay, I'm done. I'm catching up with chat. Hello. Samantha, hello. Welcome in. It's lovely to see you. She says, the people never want apple variety we do not stock. We know this because no one buys apple variety we do not stock. That's it exactly. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yes. It's like saying nobody wants brown sweatshirts when there are no brown sweatshirts available. Like, personally, I would have loved a brown sweatshirt last year, but no one was making brown clothes for some reason. Anyways, Sammy Ann says, that was me versus my hubby. He was like, an apple is an apple. I'm like, try this kind and get back to me. He is now a Gala fan instead of picking up Red Delicious all the time. Oh, Red Delicious suck. As an apple enthusiast, I am insulted by the fact that there's delicious in the name Red Delicious. It's doing a lot of marketing heavyweight, and I think we've all caught on. Like, real talk. The home buyers want a roof over their head. Yes, exactly, yes. When I've, like, pipe dream looked at properties in the area that, you know, if we ever wanted to actually stop renting and buy a home, which we currently are not capable to do in this area because it's too damn expensive, we were looking at, you know, we weren't looking for, like, ooh, is this pretty? We were looking at, like, man, that kitchen is a butt ugly color, but it's in our price range and it has the correct number of rooms. Like, that's it. That's it. You know, you can't say like, oh, these are the home designs that people want and we're just responding to that. No, you're not. That's not how that market works. People, it is a necessity. Shelter is a necessity. So if all that's available are like ugly new builds with not enough windows, people are just going to end up living in them because they gotta be somewhere. It's just such a nonsense answer. It's such a nonsense answer. Anyways, I'm enough about that. Hey, speaking of houses, this is a beautiful house that our little adventurers are very happy about. I don't really have like a huge story behind this piece. It's more just I needed to improvise some painting so that I'd have a small, fairly inconsequential piece of art that I could test out our paints on. And to be honest, I'm not even sure that this is the style of painting I should have done to test these out, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. I was thinking something more like, originally something more like a landscape that has more in the way of like trees in it, but like, meh. Anyways, hello Sammy and welcome in. How are you? It's wonderful to see you and welcome on in. Hello. Leaky says, we've included the legal minimum number of affordable homes in our complex. Yippee! Because we love our community. Yeah, you definitely weren't mandated to do that. Hi Leaky, welcome in. It's wonderful to see you. Hello. Sammy says, God, when we went to get hardwood floors for our house and the flooring design person says, you don't want hardwood, it will be hard to sell. It isn't trendy at the moment. You want carpet. And I'm like, no, I told you what I want. I want my old-timey grandma and Needle Point look. Hell yeah. She had had the gall to say, no, you don't. Oh my god. Oh my god. No, you don't? Oh, I hate these people. Sassy Britches, wonderful username, by the way. Welcome in. It's lovely to see you. Hello, hello. Thank you for the follow. But yeah, I absolutely hate the way that, like, home design and home decoration is so... It is treating homes not as a place that you intend to live for any amount of time, but as purely as a financial transaction. And that just makes me feel so sad. Like, that's not homes, that's houses, you know? It's like, oh geez, I can't put up tiles in on the backsplash of my kitchen that are, you know, sort of like a color or pattern that I think will bring me joy, because when I come to sell the house, someone might see the backsplash of tiles in the kitchen and be like, oh geez, I don't like blue. I don't like those blue tiles. I don't want this house. Like, what? Like, what? That is no way to live your life. Now, I say this as someone who is not a homeowner. I'm a flat renter. So I live in, like, a personality-less sequence of magnolia boxes that, to be honest, there's not really any decor going on here. There's just furniture, storage, my husband, and I. But, man, if I owned a house, I would be making that look the way I want it to look and in the way that I want it to feel. I'm gonna make a crochet blanket, and there's gonna be a crochet blanket hanging across the back of our big comfy sofa. There's gonna be whatever ding-dang color I want the walls to be. I don't care if, like, I don't know, robin's egg blue is off trend. I think it's cheerful, so I'm gonna paint a room in it. And if you don't like that, well, hey, you didn't pay for the house, so get in the bin. Anyways. We didn't buy there, obviously, but, you know, I'm glad that you didn't, because they didn't deserve your money, Sammy Ann. She goes on to say, I want to stay in my cozy little house and decorate it the way I want. I'm lucky to own one. I ain't selling it for something better. Hell yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's not all about, like, I don't know, like, just getting on the property ladder. Maybe it's just, like, getting a property and staying in it because you love it. Like, why isn't that, like, why, like, can't that just be enough? Can't that just be, I mean, my parents have been living in the same house since the 90s. My parents-in-law have been living in the same house in the 70s. That's the house that they bought when they, like, moved in together. You know? Like, what is happening? I hate it. Anyways, Samantha says, if you don't like blue, you don't deserve to buy this house off me. Good day to you. Yes, exactly. Also, yeah, blue is lovely. We are painting the sky blue. And then I forgot what I forgot what I was going to do. Now, this is a weird blue. I have to say, this is in just as a word of warning, this is a weird blue, because this is the Frog and Toad palette, so you can't really expect anything to be, like, super, super blue. But you will hopefully do, I'm doing a wet into wet sky, so hopefully you will be able to see some granulations of the, I think it's French ultramarine blue that was the base for this color. But it is also umbrous, if that is an adjective. And as far as I'm concerned, it most certainly is now. Oh, damn, that's way too much paint. Ah, shoot. Ah, beans. Okay. Let's just lighten that right down, because this is supposed to be, like, somewhat daytime, but I'm thinking maybe it's, like, an overcast day. It could be, like, an overcast day. That would be fine. Anyways. Sassy Britches, hello, says, following me because I see real watercolors and I love finding non-digital artists in this community. Check out, be back soon. Well, welcome in and thank you so much. I do love a watercolor situation. I am, in fact, I don't know how to do digital art. This is my one and only medium type. Well, that isn't, I mean, I do other traditional media as well, but I am very traditional artist in the sense that my media are physical. Ta-da! Wow, that looks really bleak and end of the world-y. So refreshing, says Sassy Bridges. Thank you. Sammy Ann says, side looks at the tablet I'm currently working on. Ooh! Are you arting along? That's exciting. Blue is objectively best color, says Samantha. Definitely no personal bias going on there. Anyways, listen, tablet is so valid. I might even attempt to do digital art if I was not absolute butt at it. Okay. Oh, that is a fun multi-dimensional sky situation. I like the way these colors are blending together. I don't know if you can see what it's doing, but it's really weird. I love it. I love it. You're getting I'm getting some real color separation here between the ultramarine and the umber, and it's doing something weird. I like that. That's neat. That's fun. That color change is so amazing, says Sammy Ann. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, look at that, says Sassy Bridges. Thank you. Watercolor is my favorite, but also I love stuff like pencil slash crayon slash marker slash all that other fun crafty stuff that makes a mess around the house. Ooh, that reminds me. When I was on holiday in the summer, I bought myself a box of crayons from the supermarket with the intention of attempting to use them in some artwork. And I was too intimidated because I haven't used crayons since my age was in the single digits. I just have not done that since. And I should get on that. I think, I could do, like, not necessarily, like, a fully crayon piece, but, like, I think it might be fun to use crayon to sort of add texture on top of, like, a watercolor piece and do some, like, mixed media stuff with it. I also think that an insect bit me on Tuesday on my arm, and it's itchy again, so I don't know what's going on with that, but oh boy, I'm having a reaction to it. Yay. I've been having a lot of hives lately. It's not fun. This is TMI. I'm sorry. I'll shut up. No, I won't. But I'll talk about something else. Anyways, I have been looking at buying a set of, like, gouache paints as well, because I don't have a lot of gouache paints. And I think there was, like, a sale going on from my preferred art supply retailer, but they didn't seem to have just, like, specifically the gouache that I've had my eye on. I don't know if anyone has experience with it. Was the, like, Holbein Artists gouache range. That I've heard from one source that Holbein's gouache paints are very good, and so I thought I would give them. And they're also not insanely expensive, which I love. But they're not in the sale, so I was like, I'm dithering about it because I have about at least 2,500 pounds of unplanned for expenses in the next couple of months. I've got dental work in a few weeks. That's going to be quite expensive. And then I have to apply for British citizenship at the top of next year. And then after that, I have to buy a British passport. So, I hate it for me. Anyways, but I just really want some lovely gouache paints. Life is tough. Anyways, Samantha says, I always find working on a tablet for art gets rather expensive. I don't really find that the paint looks good enough on them to justify how much more expensive it is to buy one for each piece over just a sheet of paper. Yeah, because then you have to buy, like, the extra special, like, paper cover that goes on top of it to, like, get the texture to look right and for the paint to sit and not kind of flake off. But on the other, like, if you're doing that, you might as well just use paper because it's a lot less expensive. But on the other hand, you can't play June's Journey on a sheet of paper. So there's that. Anyways, this stream is not sponsored by June's Journey, but if June's Journey wanted to sponsor this stream, I would seriously consider it. I have never played June's Journey, but if June's Journey wanted to sponsor the stream, I would super do that. Anyways, Sassy Bridges says, I have so many crayons I keep buying, and I haven't used it. So hard to break the seal in my mind to allow myself to just play. Oh my god, I know this feeling well. I think a lot of us do. I love this art supply so much that I don't want to... I'm scared to ruin it by using it, even though it was specifically made... It is a tool that was made to be used. But it's so much fun. Sammy, what are you doing? Ah! The cacophony!
Oh hell yeah, bite me Medusa just subscribed. Oh hell yeah, Dark Insanities just subscribed.
What the heck is happening? Oh no.
Oh hell yeah, Q2S just subscribed.
Oh, TTS Nicole is trying her best.
Oh hell yeah, Sassy_Breaches_ just subscribed. Oh hell yeah, Homepurse_ just subscribed.
Oh my goodness, I should not have taken a sip of tea. That was the perfect time to do it. Oh no. Anyways, thank you, Sammy, so much for gifting 5 subs. What are you doing? Thank you so much. Thank you for gifting subs to by Medusa and Dark and Homepurse and Sassy Bridges and Q2s. Thank you so much. She says I'm spending my money responsibly. Hey. Beans. Thank you very much indeed. Sammy Ann says, Nicole, you are doing great. Keep it up, you lovely wombat. Honestly, I'm just impressed that Nicole, the TTS wombat, has mastered human speech. That is... I don't know of any other wombats that can do that. She is a very impressive little lady. She wears dungarees. She can read and speak human languages. Leaky says oh hell yeah, seems less impressed each time. I mean, I don't know what time it is. I don't know what time it is for wombats, because I assume she's, like, she doesn't live in my studio. I assume she's, like, dialing in from Australia. So it might be a really weird time of day for her. I'm honestly not sure. But, oh my goodness gracious, Sammy, and thank you so much for the gift subs. That's really, really kind. Thank you. To everyone who has just received a gift sub, please enjoy your emotes and stuff. I really need to make some new emotes soon. I haven't done that in a little while. I think the most recent ones that I added were probably the skongs when Silk Song dropped, and I did it took a long time. Probably 5:27 a.m. says Leaky. Struth! That's early. Jeez, no wonder she's struggling to muster enthusiasm for her oh hell yes. That is very early. Anyways, good morning. Top of the morning to any Australians watching from down under. Hello, welcome in. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I hope that you have a nice time being able to avail yourself of some of the Australian treats that they don't habitually sell here. Actually, no, saying that, you can get Tim Tams in the supermarket here now in the UK. You can even get gluten-free Tim Tams in the supermarket here in the UK, which is like a godsend to me, but also extremely dangerous because I'm supposed to be keeping an eye on my blood sugar. So, yippee! Oh look, a hype train, says Sammy, and feels mischievous. Ah, beats! Thank you again, I really do appreciate that. It's incredibly sweet. Samantha says, to be fair, being nocturnal is probably about the same kind of time relatively for her as us in terms of an active day. Huh. Interesting. Oh, so maybe she's feeling kind of sleepy, like she's winding down. She's having a nice cup of herbal tea. That's how I feel. I'm not just having one, I'm having 2 nice cups of herbal tea. I've got pineapple mint on this side, and I've got peppermint and spearmint blend over here. This is probably too much mint. I'm going to give myself heartburn, or prevent heartburn, depending on who you ask. Ah! Samantha! Hey!
Oh hell yeah, Swath Sheep just subscribed.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Why?
Oh hell yeah, Eddie_Cosmo just subscribed. Oh hell yeah, Captain underscore Alice just subscribed.
I was gonna paint today.
Oh hell yeah,
I was
Maya
supposed to
just
paint
subscribed.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh hell yeah, Zimzang underscore just subscribed.
They sure did. Samantha, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs. What the heck? Thank you for gifting subs to Captain Alice and Eddie and Maya and Swoof and Zoomzang. Some very good usernames in there as well. Some very lovely people as well. To everyone who's just received a gift sub, I hope you enjoy your emotes and stuff. Thank you so much, and thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, thank you. Hello. Sassy Britches says, who is the drawing supposed to be of? She looks like how I show up to work most days, especially the hair. Oh, the little dancer when someone subs? That's me. That's me in my less startled woodland creature form. Hold up. Bear with. Here I am. Here's what I look like on a regular day when I'm not being a startled woodland creature in the middle of winter. I look like this these days. To be honest, the dancing me is probably a little bit outdated because I've been letting my natural salt and pepper grow out, so it looks a little bit more like this. But I didn't know how extreme to go with the gray stripes because it really depends on the lighting. Sometimes my hair just looks brown and other times it's like, whoa, silvery. So anywho, but yeah, when I'm streaming, I'm less likely to be dressed like a pirate and more likely to just be in my pajam jams. Today I'm just wearing a plain black tee. Oh man, it looks real under the light. It looks real transparent, but thankfully it's not that bad in real life. But it is linen, so it is a little bit it has a little bit of a looser weave than a classic t-shirt, but it's also super comfy because it's made of linen. We have sparkles. We have sparkly hair. Hell yeah. I'm just waiting for the day when my hair gets gray enough that I can just dye the whole thing like lilac. Because I used to bleach my hair and then dye it lilac, and that was really fun. But also the bleach damaged my hair texture quite a lot. And so I was like, I think I want to not do that anymore because my curl pattern is super pretty if I don't bleach and ruin my hair texture, it turns out. So, that's what I've been doing, Sassy Bridges. Hell yeah, waiting to have enough grays to show up if I used Manic Panic. Yes, exactly. I feel like I'm just about there in some areas. But I'm also not sure if, like, I don't want to end up in a situation where it just looks like I'm trying to cover my grays instead of I'm trying to turn my grays fun colors. Woo, curly girlies in the house. Hell yeah. I do like, my curls are a mess. They are a mess. They are always a mess. And my curl pattern is super weird and uneven. No matter how much I try and look after it, but hey. Ooh, we have our first terrible drawing time in a wee while. Where the heck is my canvas? Is it, I'm gonna have to go on a little adventure to find my terrible drawing canvas. I'll let you watch this in the meantime, but where did I put, is it under my sewing? No, it's not under my sewing. Incidentally, so I am an historical sewist. And currently this little tailor is looking after my sewing to, like, work in progress pile. So, thank you to him. And obviously he's being looked after by his, What have you done? Hello?
Oh hell yeah, Unicorn just subscribed.
Hey! Also, I've not forgotten about the terrible drawing. Leaky.
Oh hell yeah,
Oh,
Megan
hell yeah.
underscore M underscore M&M's just subscribed. Oh hell yeah, Nozox just subscribed.
Thank you so much. No.
Oh hell yeah, icy underscore April underscore Dawn just subscribed.
Beans. How the heck? So
Oh
hello,
hell
Jen.
yeah, 413 by 1 NKP just subscribed.
Wow, okay, Feliki, thank you so much for the gift subs. Thank you for gifting subs to Icy April Dawn, Umacorn, 413 by 1 AKP, No Socks VB, and Megan Nemesis, which is another wonderful, wonderful username. Thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate it. To everyone who's just received a gift sub, I hope you enjoy your emotes and stuff. To everyone who gifted subs, you people are too nice, and I don't know how to deal with this level of kindness. I don't feel like I deserve it, and you're very kind, and I love you all. My brain is broken. Anyways, we have... Thank you. Samantha wants a terrible drawing time request of Q showing off his Ryza fit to Picard, who definitely consented to this holiday he was just whisked away on. Oh boy, Star Trek civilian fashions. I don't know how, like, ham I can go in 5 minutes or less, but I'm gonna try my ding-dang best. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Leaky, for the gift subs. Sassy Britches says, my hair is super grown out from the last shaggy cut, so now this winter, I'm just embracing the perma bun with greasy roots, so it's mostly straight once it's dry. Nice. I have been, like, using a hair serum and, you know, sort of doing the scrunchies, after I towel dry to make sure that it doesn't tangle too much and to kind of try and encourage the curls to remember how to be curls. But it's hit or miss in places. Sometimes I'll have like a ringlet and then just halfway down the length of hair it just kind of falls limp. It's very strange. I could conceivably attempt to encourage it with, like, you know, sort of pinning it up but while it's still damp or something, but yeah. Anyways, that's too much work. I'm a very low maintenance little creature. I'm just a sphere trying their best. Turnip says, lol, Garrick jump scare and then sub jump scare. Yup, hell yeah. Sorry, I would apologize for the Garrick jump scare. Why is that so hard to say? I keep wanting to say gump scare, and that's not right. Garrick jump scare, and but I'm not sorry because he's one of my favorites. He's my Blorbo, and I love him very much. But thank you for the hell yes, y'all, and thank you for the hype train. Thank you for the hydrate, Leaky. And, yeah, that's the life of a curly girl, too much work. It's just, I mean, I used to just towel dry and go, and my hair would look bad. But I'm trying to be better, so here we are. Even having a weekly wash day feels like a lot of work. Oh man, I gotta do twice a week. I'd have a twice a week wash day. I have Tuesdays and Fridays are my hair wash days. And it's a lot. I was having, like, I think because the temperature was changing, I was having, like, some dry skin, like, around sort of, like, my hairline, like, just above my ears and, like, on my forehead, so I had to change shampoos because I think the shampoo was, like, drying my skin out. But it was a really good shampoo for, like, long, curly, beautiful hair. And so now I'm, like, trying so hard to maintain it using an inferior shampoo for that, but a shampoo that is kinder to my skin. Anyways, Turnip says, enjoy your hype train back to Lurk. Have a lovely Lurk, and thank you again for the hype train. It is just pulling out of the station at the doors have already closed, and if you were trying to get on the train, I'm afraid it's already left. You're gonna have to wait for the next one. But thank you very much. And it was I'm waving goodbye to the choo choo because I don't know if you know this about me, but I have the not exactly just train autism, but specifically like the railway station autism, but I do love a good train as well. I do like a good train journey. But, like, I can't tell you what the different, like, I don't know the names of the different types of train. Like, I don't know which one's a class 159. I don't know. I don't know that. I know I don't like the trains that they run on cross country. because of the design of the train is such that because of where the loos are, it kind of makes the entire train smell like a toilet, which is not pleasant. But apart from that, trains. I love them. I want to do another London tube station painting at some point soon, but I was supposed to go to London a couple weeks ago to run some errands. And wouldn't you know it, it was the worst weather day for a long old time. It was like torrential rains. So we stayed home, which was definitely the right call, all things considered, because, like, woof. But it was also very sad, because I had wanted to visit a tube station I've never been to before, take a whole bunch of, like, photos and stuff, and then do a painting of it. And now I have to wait to do that. I could do a painting of a tube station that I have been to, I guess, like, already. But I really had my heart set on either Collier's Wood, Clapham Common, or Kennington, and I've never been to any of those stations. I've been through most of those stations, but I haven't been to any of them, and they're all real cute looking. Anyways, Leaky says, I'm sure evil folk exist with a special interest in rail replacement. Oh my god, a special interest in rail replacement buses? I know it exists. I'm sure it exists. 100% I'm sure it exists. I know that in places where there just isn't enough rail to be able to train spot, there are communities of bus spotters. Years and years ago, I knew a fellow who was a journalist, and he once did, like, a profile on the bus spotters of Los Angeles, which is exactly as you would expect it would be. It's like, you know, folks with, like, rucksacks with, you know, stuffed with, like, bus timetables and stuff, just watching out for the buses that go by and, like, noting down the serial number of the bus that passed, and get really excited about, like, different makes and models of, like, local buses and stuff. And I just remember when he asked them, it's like, what is it that you like about buses? And they were just like, buses are cool. And he was confused. He was expecting them to give, like, some sort of deep, meaningful, like, philosophical answer about, like, why they're interested in buses. And it's like, honestly, ask most people who are the kind of person to be inclined to have something like a special interest, why their special interest is their special interest. And the answer will more than likely boil down to, I just think they're neat. You know? It's like, why am I so interested in, like, dress history? I just think it's neat. I just think, like, I could off the cuff come up with a more interesting answer than that. But at the end of the day, the main reason that I have an interest in dress history is because I think it's cool and I think it's fun. That's it. You know? Anyways. But yeah, that's fantastic. I went to London on Sunday and my round trip took 6 hours, says Leaky. Oh, my heart. I hate that for you. That's ages. Oh, you poor thing. Sassy Britches says, I didn't get the autism where I know anything about trains, but I get childishly excited whenever I see one. I rarely see them in my city, despite living in a city that's like a hub or whatever you call it. There's just something about, like, they go all over the country. They travel so much. That's kind of exciting to me. It is exciting. I do like seeing a trend, you know? Like, if I'm not expecting, if there's, like, a surprise trend, I'm just like, trend. I love it. I'm very pleased about that. But yeah, I also have not amassed masses of knowledge about, like, different makes and models of trains specifically. I am amassing knowledge about, like, the history of the railways, though. But not really, not in, like, a hyper-fixated way, just more in, like, a this is interesting kind of way. But stations? Oh, I love a good station. I love a good station so much that, like, I do like a visceral, like, reaction if you say the name Beeching. Like, my husband's hometown had a railway station, but it predates both of us because it got axed by Beeching. And I'm so sad about that because A, we could have taken a train directly to where my parents-in-law live instead of having to take a train to, like, a nearby town and have them come pick us up in their car. Which is, you know, extra effort for them, and that doesn't seem fair. But also, but also, you know, like nice old station that they just, why not cool. Anyways, um, I guess by that measure, I'm an El Camino spotter, says Sassy Bridges. Oh, rad. Leaky says, I remember Tom Scott did a video about a bus replacement train when a road was closed. That's incredible. I need to find this video. That's so funny. A bus replacement train. Amazing. That's so cool. A friend of mine has the tism, says Leaky, and loves her new job as a bus driver. Oh, I bet. If you like driving around, I could imagine that being a really good job for sure, for sure. I had a friend actually who'd considered getting a job as like a London Underground driver, and again, I could see that being a good job, and if that's what you're into, that's super cool. Um, Also, you know, just as a one thing that I dislike about the trains as opposed to the buses is it's a lot harder to thank the driver. I am very much of the belief that you always say thank you when you get off the bus. Like it's just this person has conveyed you from one location to another in, you know, a vehicle. You say thank you. Anyways, um that's I'm always surprised when people don't. Anyways, um Sassy Britches says I saw one this morning, and right after I had been reading about the decals of classics around the 70s and finding about the El Camino had a decal. Oh, sweet. Samantha says, do you think in the elder times you had autistics who would have a special interest and know the difference between like each of the herds of animals that pass through their tribe's territory? Oh, for sure. 100%. I've been thinking about that actually. I wondered like what was the stereotype before trains? Obviously we didn't have a word for autism back then, but like what was the stereotype? I feel like probably like ships at some point, probably horses maybe as well. I'm not sure, but yeah, definitely like herds of animals, that kind of thing. Plants even. Um, and the bell for the train excites me too. It's like another version of the ice cream truck. Oh man, have you ever heard the toot noise that is made by a Manchester tram? I recommend it. Look it up. I lived in Manchester for a year and I loved the little toot toot noise that the tram makes. It's so stinking cute. Shifts would only work for the autistic folk who lived in port towns. That's true. That's true. Fair enough. I'm in the U.S. So I'm not sure what a tram is. I suggest you look it up. Oh man, their trams are great. I think they're also called streetcars in some places. You might know a streetcar. But we're about to have an ad break, so I will come back to the rest of chat in like a minute. I'm so sorry. A trolley. Yeah. Um, Anyways, you're not gonna miss anything. I'll be back in a minute. And coincidentally, I really have to go piss, girl. So I'll be back very shortly. BRB, everyone. Sorry for that. I'll see you in a minute. BRB. Hello. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for waiting. I hope you enjoyed the BRB music, which is... Oh, no, you didn't. It was muted. Ah, shoot. Ah, shoot. You're supposed to be hearing music this whole time. I'm so embarrassed. Sorry about that. Oh, beans. Anyways. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's nice to see you again. Sorry about that. You should have been hearing gentle piano music that entire time. That's the reason I pay for my Epidemic subscription. Anyways, so trolleys. San Francisco has a lot of trolleys. I've ridden on one. Ooh, I've never been to San Fran. I've been to Southern California, but I have not been to San Francisco. Yes, trolleys are just a tool used by philosophers to create problems for people. The evil geniuses, says Samantha. That explains a lot. That makes sense. Sassy Bridges says Boston, which is 1 hour away from me, has the subways that operate on the streets. Which is wicked scary to me. Tell me you're from Massachusetts without telling me you're from Massachusetts. And I think they have trolleys, but I don't recall if I've seen them. I rarely go to Boston. That's fair. Actually, I have a friend in Boston. I don't have anything else to add to that statement. I just have a friend in Boston, and she's great, and I love her very much. Anyways, but the last time I was in Boston was, oh, geez. It's been probably about 7 or 8 years now. And the last time I was in Boston, I flew into Boston, not realizing that my friends who lived in Boston at the time, they're from here in the UK, but they moved out to the greater Boston area for a while for work purposes, and so we went to visit them while they were living out there, and they they took us on like a little day trip into the big city Boston, and we went to a Lego shop, which was kind of on the outskirts in this weird like shopping center-y type area, and then we went through the center of town, and we literally just drove around the center of town, couldn't find anywhere to park, and then just left. Our friend who was driving dropped us off at this one comic shop so we could look at like books and stuff for a bit, and then when we were done there, we just circled the block while we looked at books and stuff, and then came back and picked us up because there was nowhere to park. So I think he just drove around looking for a parking spot for a while and then just left. So that's my experience of Boston, is basically seeing it from a car window, and then quietly having like a quiet meltdown because the plans had changed and I didn't know what was happening. Because we just drove around for a bit and then like left the city, and I was very confused. And I hadn't planned for that as a possible thing that we were going to be doing that day. And my brain doesn't always work well with changes of plans, even when they're fine. Like, it's fine. But yeah, anyways, I didn't know what was happening because no one said. We just like drove out of the city, and I was like, oh, we're not stopping to look at anything? Are we? Oh, okay. And then we went to like a Barnes and Noble, and I think I got myself a hot chocolate. Anyways, out in the suburbs. But yeah, Sassy Britches says, yeah, I hate Boston because no parking and getting lost every time and being afraid of running over people who randomly cross streets from between parked cars and cars being double and triple parked, and that all sounds like a gosh dang nightmare, and I fully sympathize and understand, and that stinks and it sucks. And I also probably wouldn't want to spend that much time in the city of Boston if I was having to deal with that. I don't drive a car, so I never have to think about parking, which feels real good. Anywho. This is... Okay, Sassy Britches, this is going to mean nothing to you, but this is very much going to mean something to, I think, a lot of the British people here. Oh, by the way, in case it's not clear, I live in the United Kingdom, as you can tell by my accent. Sassy Britches says, I work for an auto glass replacement place, and okay, British people in the chat, you know exactly where my mind went when I saw that, and it is just ping-ponging around the inner walls of my cranium now, where there used to be a brain, and there is now just on a loop, auto glass repair, auto glass replace, over and over and over again until the day I die. Oh boy, it just lives in there now. That is, and that has been sort of an on and off like vocal stim for me, I think, for years. Auto glass repair, auto glass replace. We had the jingle here in Canada. Oh my god, Sammy Ann, seriously? Ah! Samesy, says Joe. Samantha knows it. The jingle, says Joe. Yeah, the jingle. The jingle, they had it in Canada. Just waiting for Boston to drop off into the ocean, says Sassy Bridges. Oof. Oof. I mean, I confess, I do like that one song about Boston. The entire time I was in Boston, and in fact, the entire time I was in Massachusetts, even though most of the time I was in, like, a smaller town in Massachusetts near Boston, but the entire time that I was there, I had a combination of two songs. I had, I had Roadrunner by the Modern Lovers, because he sings, I'm in love with Massachusetts, doot, doot, doot. And also, I had Dirty Water by this, I can't remember the name of the band, but you know the one that goes, I love that dirty water, oh, Boston, you're my home. That song, over and over and over again. Oh, yes, Sammy Ann says we had it in Canada except it was Speedy Auto Glass. Yes, I remember Speedy Auto Glass. I'm pretty sure that my parents got an auto glass replacement done at Speedy Auto Glass. Yes. Yes. Oh my god, you've unlocked a memory, Sammy Ann. Wow. Wild. Sassy Britches says, well, I mean, with the ice caps melting, it's only a matter of time. somebody in an unrelated field of other parts of my life today tried to convince me to use ChatGPT to do a thing. And I very adamantly shut that down. It's one of those things, it's, to me, it's like, I don't know if Gelman amnesia is the right term to be using here, but you know the idea of Gelman amnesia, which is when you read, like, you know, sort of an article or a piece of literature on a topic that you're, like, an expert in, that you have a lot of knowledge of, you see it and you can see anytime there's, like, a factual error or they've fudged something or they've just straight up gotten something wrong or made a mistake, you can spot all those things and you're like, wow, this is really shoddy journalism. They've made all kinds of mistakes here. This is, like, terribly written. And then you turn the page and you read the next article, and the next article is about a topic that you don't know really much of anything about, but it's written in a very eloquent and, like, well-presented way, and you just think, oh, yeah, that was a really well-written article, really insightful, really interesting, I learned a lot. It's like, what makes you think? Have you forgotten how shoddily written the thing right before it was? The only reason that this looks plausible to you is that you don't know as much about it. So your confidence in the skill of the writer has gone up. Likewise with our friend the plagiarism robot, it feels like the more people know about it, the more they dislike and distrust it. Huh, how about that? Didn't want to get on a rant about that, but I was just reminded, so moving on. Sammy Ann says, as a former journalist, I protest, but not really. I mean, like, same, but also my journalism was less like, you know, having to write an article about, like, something to do with physics that I don't really understand, and more like, okay, I'm gonna give you a brief summary and my opinions on the latest episode of The Musketeers. The answer is, I thought it was really nice seeing an episode about Porthos. I'm glad that he got a girlfriend. Once again, my favorite actress is the lady who plays the Queen. Anyways, but, yes. Ooh, Dunning-Kruger. Isn't Dunning-Kruger the one where, like, the less you know about a topic, the more confident you feel about it? Or something like that. I'm not confident about that. Voxel! Hello, Voxel's feeling giddy. Hello, welcome in. It's lovely to see you. I hope you are well. Sammy says, Dropkick Murphys are the first band I think of when you say Baston. Sorry for the memory unlock. Oh, don't apologize. It's already in there. It's already in me. Sassy Britches says, Dropkick Murphys are good dudes. I went to school with one member. Overlapping friend groups. Oh, nice. They're good at creating community through their music. We love to see it. We love to hear it. That's really sweet. One of the things that makes me proud to be a masshole. Oh, that's delightful. So nice.
Attention.
Twitch user Sammy Kelsch.
Shoppers.
Pocket Akika, hello, welcome in. Thank you very much for the raid. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Raider. I hardly know her. I love it. Hello, friends. Welcome. And hello, Pigeon, as well. Thank you for coming in on the raid. It's lovely to see you. What were you up to today? What were you doing? Were you making something nice? Were you playing something fun? Were you doing something else entirely? I'd love to hear all about it if you'd like to let us know. It's all good. Cup Lion, hello, welcome in as well. Let me get a shout out if it will work. Yay, it worked! Sir Lord Timothy the Great, hello, welcome in. It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sassy Bridges has got to run before I run out of daylight. Well, glad I found you and we'll be back. Toodles, toodles to you as well, Sassy Bridges. Thank you for hanging out. And hello to everyone who's just came in on the raid. Good news, I actually painted a bit of the painting today. We might even do more. Who knows? We might just get a little bit crazy and actually do watercolor painting on a watercolor stream. Can you believe to learn? Hello, friends. I'm weirdly high energy. I think it's because I'm tired, but welcome, welcome. If you're new here, my name is Twitch user Sammy Calsh. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and most Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays and every once in a while on a Thursday if I'm feeling extra crispy. And I've just remembered that I have a terrible drawing time that I was supposed to do earlier, but then we got hijacked by a hype train. So I'm gonna do that as soon as I'm done with this intro. Hello, welcome in. I hope you had a lovely stream, Pocket Akika. Very much I do. And thank you so much again for the raid. As always, we are an art tax optional stream. So if there is something you would like to share with the chat, sort of art-wise, if you've got something creative you want to share, something you were working on today or something on your socials, I'd be very happy to do so. Just whisper a link in my direction and I would love to share it with the class. But if you don't want to, that's absolutely 100% fine. Or if you don't have anything that you'd like to share, or you just want to go decompress at the end of your stream, that's all good too. All such things are welcome here, and it's lovely to see you anyways. Oh, Sammy doing painting, says Pigeon. I mean, this is bone dry, and that's all we've done. So, doing painting might be a bit of a stretch, but hell yeah. 5 stream steak, my goodness, avert your eyes, for I am streaking. I'm not looking. I don't know how to set my PNG tuber so that I'm just like permanently blinking. But and in fact, shall we swap back to being a reindeer for the moment? Because yeah, that's my mood. Anyways, welcome in, Raiders. It's lovely to see y'all. If you're not familiar with my oeuvre, I will show you more or less what my art looks like in just a second. I hope you like traditional artworks and things that are a little bit whimsical, because that's literally all I know how to do. Here's one. These are some gnomes who are also husbands. So Lord Timothy the Great says, autism slaps. Oops. I mean, yes it does. Hello, thank you. But don't worry about Jim, he has Tourette's. It's all good. Also, like, yay autism. I wholeheartedly agree. It's fun. We were talking about railway stations earlier, and trams, trolleys, and trains, so you're in good company. But yeah, it is all good. Anyways, this is one of my artworks that I did recently. What's anything else that I can share? You can look at Fredward if you want. This is Fredward. He's part of my most recent shop update as well. I found him in a sketchbook and I was like, oh, how have I never posted this little guy before? His name is Fredward because he's Froggy Edward, obviously. I adore the gnome husband so much, says Pigeon. Oh, thank you. But I do also sometimes paint, if I can find it in here somewhere. I do also sometimes paint public transit stations that I think are cool. This is Park Royal Station in London, the most recent one that I did. I had a nice time doing it. Here are some little passengers. And there's an attempt at painting the underground logo. Anyways, that's that. That's So Lord Timothy, thank you very much for following. Welcome on in. I don't know how to address your title. It's such a fancy title. I don't want to be presumptuous, but hello. Pocket Akika says so pretty. Oh, thank you so much, and thank you again for the raid. Let me get another shout out for you in the chat. Please work. There we go. Yay! Yippee! It worked. Thank you again. I do appreciate it. And I hope that you had a wonderful stream. Hello. I have a very belated, terrible drawing time that I need to do. It was ahead of the hype train, which happened about half an hour ago. So Samantha, I'm really sorry that this is late. But I need to do some Star Trek fan art because someone gave me channel points. So I'll be back in just a second. Where's my paper? Is it you? Yeah, found it. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I found it. It was in a very easy to find place. In fact, But yeah, Sir Lord Timothy says, but yeah, as the anxious pigeon said, sometimes I may send seemingly random words and or keyboard spam. I apologize, I have Tourette's, which sometimes presents in what is called typing tics. I'm open to basically any questions y'all might have about Tourette's. That's really, really cool. Thank you for letting us know, and, yeah, welcome on in. Hello. Hello. Anywho, I need to do some Star Trek fan art for someone who requested a terrible drawing time. I should probably explain what terrible drawing. I mean, you can kind of extrapolate based on what's happening here as to what terrible drawing time is. For 5,000 channel points, I have 5 minutes or less to draw a character or concept of your choosing from memory or sight unseen on a terrible drawing canvas such as this bad boy. I really keep meaning to post just like the completed terrible drawing canvases to my Discord. I have an entire like Discord channel for it, and I always forget to do it. But here's one of them. And I have to draw Q and Captain Picard on holiday in Risa, and Q is wearing his sweet holiday outfit, and you know I love a good like Star Trek civilian look, especially, oh man, some of the fun outfits that they wore on Risa. There is an episode of DS9 where they go to Risa, and I swear, Julian, I love Julian. Listen, he's my Blorbo. He's my baby boy. He's just a little guy. And I love him, but he's wearing, like, the most clashingest outfit I've ever seen in my entire life. He's got these, like, super loudly patterned, like, swishy, sort of hip-slung trousers and this bright purple velour tank top, and it's just, that shouldn't work. But here we are. Anyways, yeah, sorry for the Bashir jump scare. My Blorbos have been hanging out with us in the studio for a little while, but okay, my throat is in need of some sippage, so I'm gonna sip one of my teas. Tastes like undersweetened pineapple mint. Yum yum yum. Okie dokie. I just need to get 5 minutes on the timer, which I shall. 5 minutes on the timer starting now. And now I have to remember how the heck to draw Q. I'm gonna procrastinate on that by drawing Picard first, I think. Because I want to make sure that, you know, I have enough time to think real hard about it and hopefully not get it wrong. I was like, where's my pencil gone? Here's my pencil. It's, yeah, anyways. Okay, so I'm going to start by drawing Captain Picard, and he's on holiday in Risa. So he's feeling ambivalent about it because, you know, he's a professional man, and he's honestly not that good at taking holidays. So, yeah, that's how that's going for him. I feel like I've got his nose shape quite wrong here, and also he's bald. But he's got just a little bit like there. He's got a little bit right there. So I gave him a little bit right there. And then if you've seen this man go on holiday, you know his outfits go pretty hard. So let me just draw him standing uncomfortably like so in a weird, like, asymmetrical little sort of shorty dressing gown thing that he likes to wear for some reason. I don't know. It looks very stylish on him. But I also haven't given myself enough space to, like, draw in his legs really. So that's gonna be interesting. I guess we'll just see him from, like, here, because he's just wearing little He's just wearing little shorty shorts, I think. And his hands are at his sides. Doop-a-doop. Like so. Perfect. Okay. I mean, hang on. I'm missing something. He also, I've seen the episode of Star Trek where he goes on holiday. That man's got chest hair. The most English of all the French people, says Leaky. It's true. Anxious Pigeon says, I love that Picard would wear a slutty little robe on holiday. It's the sluttiest outfit. It's kind of shiny, too. Like, what the heck, bro? I mean, it's great. It's delightful, don't get me wrong, but, like, yeah. Anyways, here's his very special friend Q, whose face looks like this, I think. My pencil is losing sharpness, and also what's left on my timer. 2 minutes! Ah, shoot, I've got 2 minutes. He's winking, and he's, you know what, I'm gonna have him wearing that. I didn't give myself enough space up here. But he's gonna be wearing that weird, like, it's like the first episode, I think, where he's wearing this weird, like, funky hat situation with, like, a hood and sort of like a wimple. I don't know. Is it a wimple? It feels kind of wimple adjacent. He's gonna be wearing that. He's like, ta-da! I'm fabulous. Hell yeah. His face is so much bigger than Picard's. I don't know what happened there. But he's absolutely wearing the wimple, and then just like, he's got, like, I think, like, a big fancy medallion thing on. So I'm gonna give him a big fancy medallion. It's heart-shaped because he loves them. But other than that, this is where things are gonna ever so slightly go off the rails, because obviously, like, he's cute. His face can be as big as he likes. That's true. That's very true. But also, I think that's all he's wearing on top. I think he's just wearing, like, that, and then, like, super tiny little hot pants, like these sorts of, like, little hot pants. You know, like these sorts of little hot pants. Obviously plenty of, and I don't know if he's got chest hair, but he's got some chest hair going on. And do Qs have belly buttons? They do now. I don't know. I don't care. Anyways, you can't see it because he's... Ah, shoot, the timer's going. You can't see it because he's facing towards us, but these are the types of little booty shorts that absolutely have, like, slut or something printed across the butt. Anyways, here they are. They're on holiday in Risa, and that's what they look like. This is the worst thing I've ever drawn. You're welcome, and thank you for making me draw. That's been terrible drawing time. I hope you're happy, and I'm sorry. Exactly, Q could be fooling around having an enormous head. Yeah, he can do what he wants, anyways. Like, it's short, but also with the deepest V, says Pigeon. It's just, there's just so much going on. There's so much going on, and I don't. Anyways, Star Trek civilian fashion is just, frankly, chef's kiss. Just the best of the worst. I love it. What I will say is that they did a better job of figuring out what, like, kids should be wearing with, like, Jake Sisko than they did with Wesley and his horrible jumpers. But honestly, some of those early season, like, jumpsuits that Jake is wearing, I'm like, aw, kiddo, that doesn't seem fair. Imagine being, like, an adolescent with almost no teenagers to hang out with in the future on a space station, and you also have to wear an unflattering jumpsuit. That just doesn't seem fair. At least he has, like, one best friend who also wears, like, weird outfits, and that's nice, and I'm happy for them. In fact, they look like this. Hi. At some point I'll paint that. Anyways, enough about Star Trek. Hello, Aoife, welcome in. How are you doing? It's wonderful to see you, and welcome on in. I am actually going to attempt to do a little bit, if you don't mind. If it's okay with all of y'all, I think I'm going to attempt to do some painting. Like, crazy, weird, I know, but... Like, what if I did that? Would that be fine? Would that be okay? I hope so. Anyways, I'm just popping down some... I'm just pre-moistening this bit of hill. But anyways, actually, like, you aren't inconceivable, says Sammy Ann. I know. Like, we're probably... I don't think we're going to finish this today. This was supposed to be, like, a nice, quick... Fast and quick and easy piece for me to do as just a test to see how these paints get on. To which I say, lol. Lamau even. Like, that's where we are. So with it goeth. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyways. But, yes, that's so controversial, says Pigeon. Samantha says, Sammy painting on a painting cream? I'm not sure we can allow that. Aoife is doing alright. Slept funny 2 nights ago, so my shoulder's a bit wonky, but otherwise doing great. Oh, heck, I hope your shoulder feels better soon. That sucks. That is the pits, friend, and I hope that it, resolves itself and that you feel better very, very, very soon. Sleeping funny is the worst. Just the, okay, yay, woke up and, what? No. Why would I do that to sleeping self? Why would you do this to your waking self? We're supposed to be working together, damn it. Not against each other. Why? Anywho. How about me? I'm doing okay. It's been a week. It's been a difficult week. It's been a busy week, but the good news is that the week is over and now I don't have to think about at least some of the things that happened this week. Some of the things that happened this week are fine. And, I don't have to think about all of them. But anyways. Sam says, then we embarrass you by showering you with love and triggering the train station side of your lovely brain. Oh yeah, because there was a hype train choo-choo, and I'm very grateful. Thank you so much indeed. Q2 has requested an affirmation for Sammy Ann, who very kindly gifted them a sub. And I would be more than happy to do some affirming in this Chili's tonight. So let me whip out one of my affirmation decks. I honestly think it would be a really fun project to make an affirmation deck. I have no idea what shape that would take, but I think it could be really fun. I'm going to set the painting to one side because it's very wet right now, and I don't really want it to, you know, get all bad when I drop a card on top of it. So let's get some affirmation. Aoife says, like a week ago, I fell asleep sideways in my comfy chair with my head on a book, which was balanced on an open drawer, no issues, but sleep slightly weird in bed, 2 days of pain in my shoulder. It's true. It's totally, totally true. Like, these days, I stand, sit, or bend funny, I will get lower back pain. Yay! So fun. Love that for me. I'm actually, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, but I'm doing a pre-Christmas resolution to exercise a little bit more and better. I'm not very good at taking stupid little walks for my stupid little mental health because unfortunately I have an attention deficit, and just like walking around the same streets of the same neighborhood over and over and over again when I don't have like a clear destination does not do it for me in terms of like giving me the amount of stimulation that I need. But I'm gonna attempt to do it. Because I love walking in like novel areas and places that I don't live. I love just walking around them. I think that's so fun. But walking around the place where I live, like, no, I look at these every day. I don't need to look at them more. Like, who cares? This is boring. Also, you know, but on the other hand, like, I saw 2 sparrows, a wagtail, a ton of magpies, corvids galore, and some pigeons today on my way to and from the bus stop. And I don't live super far from a bus stop. And that's all the like, I saw so many birds. So, you know, that's nice. Now, my New Year's resolution is 7680 by 2160, just like this year. That's an interesting resolution. It's either very tall or very wide. I'm not sure. I forget which one's which. Anyways, Aoife says, like, a week ago I fell asleep sideways in my comfy chair. Oh yeah, I read that. Ugh, stupid. Anyways, I like to search for stuff so the same-ish areas keep interesting, like pretty stones, oak galls, or rose hips, just to name a few. Ooh, I mean, that is true. That is true. I might try and venture out into some of the more, like, you know, parky, woodsy, less next to traffic and more sort of remote areas, but it's just, you know, like, technically I live in a walkable area, but also, like, it doesn't feel like a place that you want to walk through. It's not that my neighborhood is necessarily that insalubrious. I mean, it's not a posh neighborhood by any stretch. It's pretty poor, because I can afford to live here, but, there's also just not a lot to see, and there are a couple of houses have sprung up around that will just have, like, an England flag flying from one of the windows. Or just somebody got, like, a flagpole and put an England flag up, and you know how that makes me feel as an immigrant? Bad. I'm not going to dwell on it because we don't want to go there again. But yeah. Anyways, stupid little walks for your stupid little mental health. Great idea. You should do that, and I'm going to try doing it more. Get me that exercise, I guess, if I have to. This feels appropriate because it's, like, Thanksgiving time. But family's nice. And if your family sucks, your friends can be your family also. And, if you're having a celebratory weekend, I hope you have some nice people to hang out with. And if you're hanging out just by yourself, I hope you're able to, like, treat yourself. Maybe, you know what? It's getting that time of year where like the little oranges feel really appropriate. You should get yourself some little oranges. Art fam and the art family. Community. Community is so good and so important and so special. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel when people talk about, like, IRL community, I'm, like, bad at it, because, like, when I'm tired, Sammy could be Sammy Ann's family for real. I mean, our usernames start with the same name, so who knows? Anyways, was that a new hydrate? I don't know, but I'm gonna hydrate again anyways. But I'm very grateful for the art family that we have here on Twitch. I would not be doing the things that I'm doing if it weren't for the art family that we have here on Twitch. And I think that having a community of people, like-minded people who are supportive of each other, is real stinking nice and real good and real important, just in terms of, like, you know, human species. So yeah, I'm here for that. I have decided I want some of this area to be, like, veggie patch / garden next to the house. So I'm probably gonna do that in just, like, brown and do green, like, around it. I was gonna do a pathway coming from the house, and then I decided to just not. Love that message of family is what you make of it. Absolutely, you know, because some people are born into families that it turn out suck, and, like, when you're an adult, you could just not, if they're horrible, you can just not hang out with them. You can find people who you know, like, you actually love, and do that also. But also, if your family is great, that's also awesome. Like, my family is great. My family-in-law is also great. And I'm very grateful for that. There's no point to this. I'm just rambling now. But I don't know. My point is community. It's good. And I'm going to take another sip of my tea. You can just walk away from your family if they suck. This is true. Yeah, absolutely. There's a meme somewhere that's just like, you can just leave. If it sucks, hit the brakes. And I love that. I love that so much. I don't know. Is that a positive message? It feels like it kind of is to me. You know, you can just, like, I'm inspired by that. You can just leave. If it sucks, hit the brakes. Jobs, family, the expectations of being a a fancy lad in the beginning of the 18th century when your heart belongs to the sea, you know, that kind of thing. I never finished playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I was doing a playthrough on stream a couple of years ago, and I don't think I never actually finished it. I should go back and finish it someday. Maybe not on stream, maybe just for funsies. Speaking of family, I've got a Miss R here today who needs to eat, as I do too, says Sammy Ann. I shall lurk while you paint and come back to Art Jam shortly. Nice. Have a lovely meal. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I am going to take just some like straight ahead green here, I think. Just some of this here straight ahead green, which is very like, it's a lovely green, but it's also a very muted green. This was Viridian. Can you believe to learn to know that this was Viridian? If you're familiar with Viridian, you know it's sort of a vibrant green that's honestly more sort of on the blue end of things. And this ain't that by any stretch. This ain't that. I'm gonna plop some, I think I'm just gonna plop like a little base of brown down into this, this little veggie patch or whatever I've decided that is here. Just a little bit of brown. And I'm okay with that being a little bit sort of soft and abstract and kind of fading into the grass around it. I think that works honestly for this. I think that's fine. Kind of just there's a lot of excess water in this area, so I'm kind of trying to coax it into place, as it were. There we go. That lovely mahogany brown is doing its thing. Love that for us. Okay. Okay. I should probably let this section dry a little bit before I put color over here. So I shall do that. While that's happening though, I've got some tissue, and I think I'm going to attempt to change some of this. Is this going to work? I don't know. But I'm going to try. Gonna see if any of this will lit this. I don't know how staining this paint is, because sometimes you can get it to lift with just a little added wetness. So we'll see if I can get some of this to lift with a little added wetness. Oh, would you look at that? I did kind of. Yippee! I don't want to get rid of, I want it to still be like colored in, but I just want to have an area where we can kind of plop in the, some plumes of wood smoke coming from the chimney of this little cottage, because I think that'd be really cute. Thusly, like, okay, wizard. Oh my god. Folks, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm so sorry. I am so sorry for the shaky cam. Oh my goodness. I hope you're okay. I hope I haven't inadvertently caused any distress there. 'Twas not my intention. But sometimes the cam doth shake, because the streamer doth not know where to put their handies, whilst doing painting. Ooh, who is she? She's mahogany brown. Which I still think sounds like a person's name, you know, like, hello, my name is Professor Mahogany Brown, and I shall be teaching you Political Science 101. Trying to think too. Is it because I don't know? Okay, so for transparency, I do live in a place that is known as a seat of very highly regarded higher learning, and yeah, I don't know, maybe that's why I think Mahogany Brown sounds like it should be a name. This feels like the place where you'd encounter a Tarquin, you know what I mean? I have not personally encountered any Tarquins, but I feel like it could happen at any moment. Yeah, anywho. I'm gonna have another sip of my breuvage. I don't, you know, if... anyways. Hell yeah. What's for dinner, chat? What are y'all having for dinner tonight? Are you having something nice? Are you doing something fun? Are you gonna have a good time with your meal? I am, personally, gonna be, making pizza. And when I say making pizza, I mean I am removing a ready-made frozen pizza from the freezer, putting some toppings on it, and then putting it into the oven, and then putting a serving of it into my tummy. It's gonna be Hawaiian tonight. We've got corn ham, and we've got fresh pineapple. Well, fresh frozen pineapple. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm quite looking forward to it, in fact. Excuse me. I am a genuine frozen pizza. Normally we have frozen pizza on Wednesdays, because normally Wednesdays are like my busiest day of the week with regard to like plans and doing stuff and going places and doing things, and it's usually the day that we do like our big weekly grocery shop, sort of like we do two big weekly grocery shops. We do one on Saturdays, and then we do it again on Wednesdays, because we can't do one big weekly grocery shop because our kitchen is small and we can't store that much stuff in it, and also we don't have a car, so most of the time we're carrying stuff home from the supermarket. That means that like my person and I can only carry 2 bags each, which means we cannot buy a week's worth of stuff all at once, or our arms would simply die, and that feels bad. So we do like our midweek sort of replenishment shop on Wednesdays, and we'll usually just get like a frozen pizza and bring the frozen pizza home and then cook the frozen pizza. And I feel really bad. There was a frozen pizza that we used to really, really love, and then they stopped stocking it in the shop, and that was sad. And then I stopped being able to digest wheat. And then I felt even more sad because I have to buy the more expensive and objectively less good gluten-free pizzas. Though that being said, there are some that are honestly pretty dang delicious nonetheless, especially if you put stuff on them. I do not recommend the Marks and Spencer's gluten-free pizza. It sucked. It just straight up sucked. It was not good. Do not recommend. 0 out of 10. I'm hoping that this one is good. I think it's Good Feathers. You know, like the pigeons, from that cartoon show in the 90s, The Good Feathers. Anyways. One time I saw 3 pigeons perched on the top of a bus shelter who were like dead ringers from the 3 pigeons from the Good Feathers. And I was very sad when I showed people the picture and no one understood the reference. I'm sure no one here understands the reference. I may well have imagined this reference. I don't know. Anyways, they were like mafia pigeons, basically. It was great. If that sounds delightful to you, it was. It was a strange thing to exist, but I enjoyed it. Anywho, I hope I made enough of this sort of yellowish green. I'm kind of gradienting the hills, so they're getting less verdant as they get further away for funsies, and so they stand out from each other. I like doing three different flavors of hills. This is like an olivey green, I feel like. This is a very yellowy green. Very dirty yellow green. This is less green than olives, I think, actually. I'm not sure what I'd call this color. Besides good. They were Animaniacs! That was it! I remember the good feathers. I am also old, says Samantha. Yippee! Thank you so much for validating me. It's one of those things where you start talking about it and you're like, wait, did I imagine that this exists? No, I can't have done it. It has to be real. And it's always nice to hear, like, one other person who remembers the thing you're talking about. Yeah, they were in Animaniacs segment. They were great. Okie dokie. We've got some hills and stuff. Yay. You did imagine them, says Samantha. I just also imagined the same thing. Oh my god, that's like that creepypasta about the kids show. Did anyone else read that creepypasta about the kids show? That, like, it starts out as just like an internet forum thread where someone's like, hey, do you remember this? There was this one, like, really obscure show that I remember watching when I was a kid, but, like, no one else knows what I'm talking about. And then they'd start describing it, and then, like, other people would chime in and be like, oh yeah, I remember watching that show. You know, it had, like, the this, that, and the other, and, like, there were just, you know, most of it sounded fairly, like, innocent and normal, but then they'd talk about, like, oh, but then there was, like, the bad guy on the show, and, like, wasn't it kind of weird how, like, grotesque he was for a kid's show? And it just got, like, more and more uncanny and strange and creepy and spooky. And then at the end, someone was like, yeah, I remember, like, watching that show every day, and I asked my mom about it, and she was like, yeah, it seemed really weird that you just spend, like, half an hour every day sitting in front of the TV and watching static. And that was, like, the big twist. It was very silly. Anyways. But yeah. So thank you also for reminding me of that stupid creepypasta. Anyways. That's like, it's like, that's like kids horror, you know? Did anybody else watch those, like, horror anthology shows for, like, youngins when you were a youngin, like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark and stuff? I had a friend whose dad worked on the Goosebumps show, so every time I watched it and I'd be like, that's my friend's dad when his name showed up in the titles. I never met her dad who worked on the show. But I was just like, that's Alyssa's dad, and it was really exciting. But yeah. Anyways. I feel like this mostly describes my experience with the show. No, I remember Brave Star. Like, does anyone but me remember that show? Was it actually just my fever dream? No, I remember Brave Star. I don't remember Brave Star well, but I remember that it existed. Like, 100%. Like, the image of it exists in my mind, but, like, in a very vague... It was the kind of that I probably watched, but I just kind of probably just let it wash over me, and it was on in the background while I did other stuff, rather than, like, I sat down and, like, paid attention to that show like I did with Star Trek The Next Generation. And also Lamb Chop. I was really into Lamb Chop for a while. Anyways. And music videos. I loved watching music videos. Back when they put music videos on TV. Well, back in my day, do I need to make a PNG tuber that's literally just me, but an actual grandpa? Because I feel like talking about things that I remember from when I was a youth, it kind of feels like I do. Anyways, okay, Samantha is telling us rather about the Brave Star show. Okay, like, I remember that the show exists. I do not remember this. There was a deputy horse who could be an anthropomorphic horse, or just a regular rideable horse. Wow! That's nuts! And the villain was a giant buffalo skull. What was this show? Guess what? I'm looking for it. It was spelled Brave Star with 2 R's. Well, that'll do it. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, y'all. Okay, sorry. No, I'm taking you to Wikipedia page for Brave Star the show because there is a picture in here that I need y'all to see. It is okay, this is a tiny resolution picture, but this is the main character and his sidekick horse. I see what you mean about the anthropomorphic horse sidekick. Oh my god. But I remembered, like, the main guy with, like, his fancy hat and stuff. Oh my god. Yeah, it was, as a Western in space, there were definitely weird racial elements as the child me did not recognize. Yeah. I feel like I was more primed to recognize, like, issues around sort of, like, depictions of Native American and First Nations Indigenous persons as a Canadian who lived in Canada. Like, for clarity, I am entirely, like, white European as far as I'm aware. But possibly of some, like, nomadic Turkic peoples if you go far enough back, but nonetheless, I grew up very aware of, like, issues surrounding, you know, man, why all over the ding dang world people be just crappy, historically, and sometimes contemporarily as well, towards, like, indigenous communities. It's stupid, and you should respect them. Please. Please do that. I'm looking at you, countries with indigenous peoples and a bit of a track record of being shitty to them, either historically or trying to be less good to them at the moment. Stop. Stop it. Get some help. Anyways. Sorry, that was an incoherent rant. I'm just waiting for this paint to dry at the moment, by the way, which is why I'm not doing a lot. I guess I could paint the house in. I have a minute before we run ads again, so now would be a really good time, I think, to paint in this little house. And, you know, like, when I started drawing these two little girlfriends, I did kind of conceive of them as being sort of not, this is not like Anne of Green Gables, it's not, but sort of an Anne of Green Gables in terms of, like, vibes, right? So I could make the house green because of that. That kind of makes sense, but also I really love, like, a little red cottage. I think that's super cute. Speaking of Canada and media, do you remember Canada's greatest media export of all time? Samantha, you're gonna have to be more specific. Unless you mean me and my YouTube channel, because I'm a Canadian export and I have a YouTube channel. I'm going to link it to you in the chat in case you want to see me speak words that I actually scripted, so they make sense because I had the chance to edit them, unlike this just the nonsense that pours out of me here on stream. Speaking of nonsense, you might see some ads in a minute, but you're not going to miss anything because we're going to go to the BRB screen. Due South! I remember Due South, of course I do. Of course I remember Due South. Anyways, where's the BRB screen? Here's the BRB screen. I'll be back in a minute. BRB, everybody. I hope ads ran. Hello. I hope there wasn't just, like, a really weird long lead-in and I'm talking and they actually are just about to start. I don't know. I left the room to have a little stretch. And have a little look at my Blue Sky feed. Someone posted a photo of, because it's the Happy Thanksgiving to any Americans watching, by the way. I did say it earlier, but I'll say it again. Happy Thanksgiving to any Americans watching. I hope you enjoy your many pies and side dishes and sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top of it, and it doesn't matter if you differentiate between stuffing and dressing. Like, it's all seasoned bread. This is something I learned recently. I didn't know that because here in the UK, stuffing is made from, like, bread, bread, like, seasonings of various kinds. Sage and onion is a popular flavor combo. Like, Paxo sage and onion is, like, the stuffing that you buy from the shops. Stuffing's delicious. And it's nice. And usually, if my mother-in-law's family is anything to go by, it gets cooked in a little baking dish next, not actually stuffed inside a roast or anything. It's just there, and it's a nice accompaniment to your food. But I didn't know, apparently Americans actually, like, put like, expect there to be meat in it, like meat in the stuffing. It's like, no, the stuffing nominally was intended to stuff the inside of your roast. So it didn't have to have roast beast in it. I'm very confused I watched a video from, like, Epicurious or one of those, like, food channels recently where they had a bunch of chefs taste a bunch of different, like, shop-bought stuffing mixes, and they were like, this doesn't taste enough like meat. And I'm like, why do you don't have to put meat in the stuffing? That's so unfriendly. I say as someone who doesn't habitually eat meat stuffs. Like, why would you do that? Why would you want that? It tastes like other things that are tasty to go with the roast, like sage, thyme, onions, parsley, It doesn't need to taste like the roast beast itself, because presumably you bought a good quality roast beast, and therefore the roast beast is going to be prepared with care and be flavored of itself. It's going to taste like itself. The stuffing doesn't also need to taste like it. Why would you put chicken fat in that? Like why would you want that? I'm very confused by this. Because it's just not something that we have or do in that way here, as far as I know. See, that was the thing. But the thing that so a friend of mine posted a photo of their turkey, and I'm gonna zoom it in here so that, like, there's a man in the picture, and I don't want to dox this person, but you can just about see, like, his hand in the background here. That turkey is the size of a man. Like, maybe it's camera angle to a certain extent. That turkey is the size of that man. It's like, that's so much food. Oh my god. You're gonna have soup for days when you're done with that thing. That is large. I don't think that would fit in a British kitchen. Samantha says, I was given to understand that Americans made the stuffing for their turkeys out of duck and chicken. Oh, of course. How foolish of me. I had forgotten about the abomination Frankenroast that I do not even wish to name because it horrifies me. Also, I feel like if you're stuffing a turkey with a duck and then stuffing the duck with a chicken, number one, like, are they all consenting parties to this? Like, are they having a good time? Number two, how are you going to get the correct internal temperature for, like, the meat at the very center of this giant ass roast without overcooking the outer bits? Like, I feel like that's going to be difficult, right? Like, that doesn't feel like it's going to be... I feel like that would be difficult. I really do. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But I feel like that would be challenging, personally. Anyways. I'm still on the fence about what I want to color this in, because if I color it in red, it's going to make it really, like, stand out. But if I color it, like, green or brownish, it will stand out less. Which will draw more focus to these ladies over here, and maybe some, like, flowers or something that stick in the on the grass here. I don't know. So Americans will cook their turkeys in a deep fryer. They do not care about making sure their meat is cooked nicely. They just ruin it. That's another thing I do not understand is the deep frying of turkey. Oh my god. Like, it does... You know there are safer ways to do it that will be delicious. And also... Have you had your cholesterol levels checked recently? Because, sincerely, why? It doesn't feel like it's going to be less work having to take it outside and put it in, like, a huge drum of oil. Of hot oil. And the cold turkey, which contains water. And that water is going to, like, sizzle and potentially, like, explode on contact with the hot oil. That's a giant-ass greaseball fire. Why would you want that? That's just... Like, I'm sure a lot of people do it without issue, but holy heck, the risks are so much greater than just roasting the dang thing in the oven. It just seems so dangerous. And for what return? For what return? How much more delicious is it than a well-seasoned and correctly cooked oven roast turkey? I don't know because I don't cook turkey. Because I'm not really a meat person. Just wow. Wow. I don't understand why you would do that. I guess it's something that was probably a trend at some point and some people have just kept doing it. Because, you know, sometimes food trends are like... When you see some of the recipes that go viral on TikTok, and I generally don't because I'm not on TikTok. I don't have a Clock App account. I don't want to get a Clock App account. I don't want that in my life. It feels like it would just take my time away from me and make me feel depressed. So, like, why would I want to do that? Just like deep frying a turkey. I don't want to. Anyways. So I mostly hear secondhand about, like, TikTok trend recipes, and sometimes it's just like, okay, well, this just sounds like a nice recipe for pasta. And then sometimes it's just like, you're doing something in a worse and less efficient way in the name of trying to make it into, like, a hack or something that, you know, will get you attention rather than just doing it the nice normal way because you want views. Because the currency here is engagement. Anyways, my moderator / spouse has come home. So I'm going to go say hi to my moderator / spouse. We'll be back in just a second. BRB, everybody. Hey! For now, anyways. Your hair looks very silly now. Oh, I love you, though. My handsome boy.
No post session.
No, there was no post. Okay, well, I'll be here. I love you. I might be playing Skong, though. Okay, love you. Kissing time, says Joe is back in time just to say kissing time.
Kissing time.
We did. Hang on. Let's do one more. Mwah. Mwah. Okay, I love you.
Love you.
Yay. Yippee. Okay, sorry about that. Samantha also says welcome home. He says hi. Anyways, I think he's got to hit the showers. Hello. I'm back. And I can't decide what color I want to make this little cottage. Maybe if I bring in a bit of this, like, orange, it's not quite as full on as the red, but it'll still stand out a little bit. That could be nice. This is a nice brownish orange. There's not really any point in appending the word brownish here. All of these colors are brownish. They've all been blended with what I would consider to be a very brown paint, so, you know, I'll do it. Anyways. I wanted something where the colors felt nice and muted. And I think I've achieved that reasonably well. As is often the case, the red was the hardest to mellow out, as it were. And I was worried that the yellow was gonna be like, because the plain yellow that I used to get, so this was the yellow. It's fluorescent, and it watered down to from that like it just turned ochre immediately, which is great. Exactly what I wanted it to do. So I was happy with that. This I don't know if I named it today actually. This is my Frog and Toad palette of paint colors. I wanted something that had the sort of color story vibe of something like the Frog, not necessarily like the Frog and Toad books, but like inspired by the vibe of the Frog and Toad books, which if you've ever seen what the Frog and Toad books look like, you know that the colors are very subdued, very muted. In fact, they use the Frog and Toad books use less color than I've done in this palette. I think it's basically just like gray, green, and orange, and I think that's all of the colors that exist in the world of Frog and Toad. There's that sort of brownish orange, and that's Toad, and then there's sort of the brownish green, and that's Frog. And they're just a couple of silly little gay fellas going on adventures and doing nice things and going swimming and eating ice creams, having adventures and sometimes misadventures as well, and generally being quite sweet. Yeah, I'm a Frog and Toad enjoyer. Anywho, what should I do? What should I paint next onto here? Maybe I can do their little outfits. I can paint in the color of their little straw hats, because I'll use the yellow. I think the yellow is a fairly good sort of like straw color, and as you can see, because I'm doing like smaller detailed things where I want the color to be a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more concentrated, I'm not doing like wet into wet painting for these portions. I'm just doing straight up painting. And I think that just works in and of itself as like a straw hat color, so that works for me. Hell yeah, there we go. Once again, I don't know who these ladies are yet, but we'll figure it out. I'll need to give them like names. I'll need to give them like full on like names and backstories and stuff. Oh, speaking of ladies in their historically inspired but ultimately fantastical little outfits here, I was looking at buying myself some new textiles to do some fabric-y, sewing-y stuff, but I'm just so indecisive. I'm like, ooh, here's a nice like beautiful like warm yellow linen, and I'm like, oh, I could make myself a skirt out of that, or I could make myself like medieval kirtle out of that. Where would I wear it? I don't know, doesn't matter, I'll figure it out. I'll wear it to Waitrose, who cares? Like, it's all good. But I just don't know. I've been so indecisive that I can't do it. But it's going to be my little Christmas gift to myself, was just to buy me a little length of fabric and make myself a project. I am working on a sewing project at the moment. It is a linen 18th century shirt in a very period inaccurate color. But I saw the name of this color and I simply couldn't resist, because the name of the color is Demon Scarlet, and that sounded like a pirate name. And I had no choice but to start constructing a pirate shirt out of it. This is one of the sleeves. Hang on, let me put the sleeve on so you can see how it would look if I was wearing it. Now, I haven't done like the buttonhole or anything yet, but you get the idea. There's the wrist. Oh my goodness, look at all that glorious poof. It's very poofy. Also, because it's so poofy, it's actually kind of like... I did the sleeve cuffs the exact same size as the sleeve cuffs of my previous 18th century shirt, and it just barely comes together here at the cuff. And I think it's because the material is thicker, so like the gathers are thicker. So like it's harder to bring together at the cuff portion, just because like the gathers are puffier effectively. But also it reads as much more of like an orangey tomato color, at least on my screen, but it's more like this color is effectively, it's the color of my nose here. It's the color of my like reindeer / clown nose. So there you go. Actually, I'm gonna, you know what, my little guys who are guarding my fabric stash are just the perfect size for this sleeve to act as a little blanket, so I've tucked them into bed. Anywhoosins. I'm probably not going to go on too much longer today because I'm tired and I've had a very long week. I will be back tomorrow morning, though. I will be doing some skonging around at the speed of skong in Silk Song. So if you like watching me be bad at video games, I promise to be as bad as ever. So you've got that to look forward to. Okay, I'm just doing her little bodice / maybe stays in this somewhat purple color because I think it's pretty and cute. And I shall do the other ones stays in this green, I think, because I think that will be pretty and cute. I hope it will be. Okay, and hopefully this is getting into the painting in of the colors of like the tiny people that I made just way too small for this. Is always a little bit scary. Cause I don't wanna get paint on bits that don't want to be painted in that color. There we go. Yay! Yippee! We did it. Okay, cool. That's nice. I like that. I like their outfits so far. I think they're cute. What else shall I... Shall I do that? Shall I do their skirts as well? I can do their skirts as well. And for their skirts, I will do maybe like I will actually bring in the red for this one, and then I'll do like maybe the orange for this one. That could be really cute. I think I will do that. Oh no, I dribbled down the side of the pan. Never mind. Just pick up a little bit of this red. I want to give them a little bit of vibrancy so they stand out from the background. Which I feel like they ought to. There we go. Ah, Jinkies, her outfit's cute. I like it. Alright, and yeah, I think with the green on top, what shall I put? The orange or maybe brown? I think maybe I'll use brown. Do a nice brown skirt. I made myself a brown skirt a little while ago. It was like it's a very dark brown. It's a very dark sort of like blackish brown. And I made the waistband too loose. I'm not really sure what to do about it. Like it's still very cute, but it's too loose. I did buy myself a belt recently, so maybe I should just be using my belt better, but here we are. Anyways, here are their little outfits. Ah, geez, I think they're cute. I don't know who they are, but I think that I think that they live in this little cottage on the hill. And they have a little veggie patch. And they have a nice time. And they're in love. Because, I don't know, it seems like if there's anything that is like a trend in my paintings, it's just, I don't like, just gay little creatures. Anyways, I think I'm gonna call it there for today because I'm very tired and my arms hurt. And I need to go cook pizza. So I think we're gonna call it there for today. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, everybody. It's been very, very fun. Hope you've had a nice time. I sure have. And I'm going to see if there's someone online for us to raid. I feel like it's been kind of a quiet, sort of getting into the quiet, but it's probably because the Americans in chat are having to now go boil their potatoes and that kind of thing. Which, like, respect. I hope you have a good weekend. And I hope everyone else has a good weekend as well, obviously. But who shall I raid? Who I haven't raided recently? There's not really that many people online for moi. So, that might well be because it's Thanksgiving and everyone in America is just chilling, and I feel like this is when, like, the Americans start, probably start making side dishes and stuff, but, there is one person who's on. I don't think it was that long ago the last time we rated them, but, happy fake whitewashed live a holiday. Yay, that's a vibe. Well, let's go say hi then. Here's a generic raid message. Let's drop in. Anana is just sliding in to say hello, I think. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the emotes. If you don't have the emotes, you can just say generic raid message. It's all good. And if you have any other emotes, you can append any cool emotes that you do have. So there. There's your generic raid message. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I've had a really nice time. I'm going to be playing Silk Song on stream tomorrow morning. And next week, maybe we'll finish this thing. I don't know. I love these paints, though. These paints are delightful. I cannot wait to do more stuff with these paints. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But, in the meantime, thank you so much. Take care, everyone. I'm going to go make pizza now. So goodbye, and Good Friday.